Good afternoon, and thank you for coming to the 26th Annual Disability Awareness Week. My name is Courtney Roten, and I'm the president of Collegians for Integration and Accessibility, also known as CIA. The mission of CIA is to educate our community. I cannot say that word. I can't say it. Community. Yeah. About disability issues and different disabilities. Today we have a presentation on cerebral palsy by Riley Hill.
Okay, cerebral palsy affects about 764,000 adults and children in the United States. To begin with, there are many factors that can increase the chances of having a child with CP. Secondly, cerebral palsy affects many different parts of the brain. Thirdly, 4 main types of CP exist. And finally, there are many different forms of treatment that can help people with cerebral palsy. The term cerebral palsy is an umbrella term that refers to a group of disorders that are caused by problems in brain development that affect movement and motor control in children. According to the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, cerebral palsy is caused by abnormal development or damage to the motor area of the brain's outer layer called the cerebral cortex, the part of the brain that directs muscle movement. This damage can occur before, during, or shortly after birth. There are many factors that can put a child at risk for developing cerebral palsy. Some of the most common factors that may lead to a child developing cerebral palsy are preterm birth, being a part of a set of multiples, umbilical cord issues, severe jaundice, and maternal infections. According to the textbook, Medical and Psychosocial Problems in the Classroom, if a child is born before the 37th week of pregnancy, especially if they're born before the 32nd week of pregnancy, they have a greater risk of having CP. If a child is a part of a set of multiples, they are also at greater risk for developing cerebral palsy. Umbilical cord issues can also increase the potential for developing this disability. If a child's umbilical cord gets wrapped around their neck before birth, it decreases the amount of oxygen to their brain, which in turn may lead to brain matter death. A child developing severe jaundice can also cause them to have CP because the baby's body will start to shut down. Some infections that have been known to increase these chances are chickenpox, chickenpox, rubella, and bacterial infections such as infections of the placenta or maternal pelvic infections. CP can affect many different parts of the brain. CP mainly affects the part of the brain called the cerebellum. The cerebellum is the largest part of the brain. The cerebellum has a part in controlling voluntary movements, thinking, reasoning, and emotions, as well as some specialized functions such as visual processing, speech, and hearing. Damage often occurs in the cerebral cortex. This part of the brain lies in the back of the frontal lobe. The abnormalities to the cerebral cortex disrupt the brain's ability to control both movement and posture. As a result, people with CP may have symptoms such as lack of muscle coordination, inability to walk correctly, muscles that are too tight or too floppy, tremors, and difficulties with precise movements. The severity of cerebral palsy depends on how much damage was done to the cerebral cortex. This part of the brain this information was found in the textbook Medical and Psychosocial Problems in the Classroom. Okay. Cerebral palsy can be divided into 4 different categories. These categories are spastic, dyskinetic, ataxic, and mixed. The first main type of CP is spastic. It is the most common type of CP. People will experience increased muscle tone and their movements may appear stiff or awkward. The term muscle tone refers to the passive resistance a body puts up to change, while strength refers to the active resistance or resistance a person needs to put up. In children with spastic CP, extra movements and muscle tone may become more evident when they are excited, nervous, or attempt to perform tasks that require intense effort. Spastic CP can be further divided into 3 subtypes. These subtypes are used to further explain how a person is affected. The first subtype of spastic CP is spastic hemiplegia. This subtype affects only one side of the body, and typically it will affect the arm of the affected side more than the leg. The second subtype of spastic CP is spastic quadriplegia. This subtype involves all 4 limbs, and typically the lower limbs will be more affected than the upper limbs. The third subtype of spastic CP is spastic diplegia. It again affects all 4 limbs, but the lower limbs are dramatically more affected than the upper limbs. This information was found in the textbook, Medical and Psychosocial Problems in the Classroom. According to the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, the second main type of cerebral palsy is dyskinetic. It is characterized by by slow, uncontrollable, jerky movements of the legs, arms, hands, and feet. The third main type of CP is ataxic. It is characterized by poor coordination, depth perception, and balance. The final main type of CP is mixed. This refers to symptoms that don't fit into a single category of cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is not a curable disorder, but there are many forms of treatment that can help people with this disability. The most common forms of treatment for cerebral palsy are physical therapy and occupational therapy. According to the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, physical therapy treatment for cerebral palsy helps to increase one's strength, flexibility, motor development, and mobility. Physical therapy enables children to fully engage in activities of daily life. Occupational therapy focuses on optimizing upper body function, improving posture, and making the most of a child's mobility. So like what they already have without like fixing it. And coming up with new ways to do everyday activities, such as dressing in school activities. People with cerebral palsy can also participate in hippotherapy upon recommendation from a physical or occupational therapist. Hippotherapy is the use of a horse's movement as a treatment strategy for people with physical disabilities. Studies show that the horse's gait or its walking pattern closely resembles that of humans, giving the clients a sense of what unassisted walking feels like. The horse's body heat is also proven to decrease the amount of tone in clients with spasticity. According to the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, speech and language therapy can help children whose CP affects their ability to orally communicate. Speech and language therapy can improve a child's ability to speak more clearly, help with swallowing disorders, and help them learn new ways to communicate. Okay, I guess we can go. As you now know, many factors can cause cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is divided into 4 main categories. CP can affect many different parts of the brain, and there are many different forms of treatment that can help people with cerebral palsy. In my opinion, cerebral palsy is neither a disease nor a disorder. I believe that if you have it, you need to deal with it and make the best of it. I have cerebral palsy, and I can't do things most people can, but I don't let it get me down. Now I was told I had to do an about me section. so here this goes. As we have discussed, CP is an umbrella term, which means that many disorders fall under it. So in my case, my cerebral palsy is caused by PVL, which is paraventricular leukomalacia, which is death of the white matter of the brain. I have 2 holes in the white matter of my brain. One's the size of a quarter, and the other is the size of a nickel. And it is believed that it's because I had a grade 3 brain bleed. And also, My twin Abby and I were born 10 weeks early, so that could have caused it, but nobody really knows. I got my first walker when I was 2, and although I don't remember it, I have pictures. And I have had 2 surgeries on my legs. One was to lengthen my hamstrings, and the other was to flip a muscle around in my leg, so that way I would be able to pick up my feet. In middle school, my walker was nicknamed the Silver Bullet by a science teacher because I used to run everywhere. And then I went to PT and OT throughout grade school, and that's always a fun time. I went to state speech my junior year of high school with informative on cerebral palsy. Don't worry, this is not the same speech. I was honored to speak at UNL about hippotherapy my senior year of high school. And then on to college. I went to college after high school, and I won the Student of Excellence Award there with my best friend Logan. And that was kind of cool because no 2 people before that year had ever won it together, so that was neat. And then I graduated from CCC in December of 2017, and now I'm here, transferred here in January of 2018, and I go to therapy on campus with my best friend Erin every week. And that's neat because last week I learned how to stand while using all the appropriate muscles in my legs and my butt. Like before then, I didn't realize you had to learn to use your butt. Thank you. Thank you. It was a pretty big accomplishment. And my dream is to become a special education teacher.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
That's it. Does anybody have any questions?
I probably should explain that one picture with the jacks. That was, Abby wanted to play jacks. Riley couldn't hold the jacks after she picked them up. So that's what she did.
Yeah, all the pictures during the presentation were of me. So I don't know. Should have probably said that before. But
That's good.
is there any questions?
So many questions. Breathe.
Hi Riley.
Hi.
Do you have any so around campus, what are some struggles you have being a wheelchair user?
Just snow. Snow, and some of the doors don't work all the time, so that's annoying, especially in West Center.
You mentioned that you gave a speech at UNL about hippotherapy.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know a little bit more about that and how you found that helpful.
The speech or the...
The hippotherapy?
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah,
With
you are.
horses? Okay.
It's correct. Okay, so I did that from like 4 to 6 or something, and I don't know, I thought it was fun because it was like therapy, but you don't really think about it as therapy in that setting and like as I stated, the horse's gait is closely resembles human walking, so you basically feel like you're walking without so it gives your body a sense of how walking is supposed to be, so you can do it on your own, like when you're off the horse. Yeah.
Hey Riley, as you've been doing some of your practicums and stuff in the classrooms and the communities, have you had a chance to meet other kids that have CP and to be able to visit with them a little bit about your successes and give them some hope about what you've done?
At Columbus, actually, I had in my practicum I had a student with CP, and he did not want to do anything. So I tried to gung ho him up like, if you do this, it will be better for you in the long run. Because when I was little, I didn't really think about that, so I wanted to give him like say that to him to make him more apt to do stuff. I don't know.